The distress call was sent out of desperation, not expectation. No one answered it for weeks. Then, without warning, something arrived. Not a fleet. Not a nation. Just humans. Veridon had been the crown jewel of the Outer Concord for 3 millennia. Its crystal spires reached toward azure skies, its universities produced the galaxy's finest minds, and its people had never known war. They'd solved conflicts with words, trade, and patience. They'd built a civilization on the radical notion that violence was unnecessary. The Kari swarm disagreed. When the first attack ships appeared, Veridon's leaders sent polite requests for ceasefire. When cities began to burn, they sent urgent diplomatic proposals. When the death count reached millions, they sent desperate pleas to the Galactic Concord for military intervention. The responses were uniform: the Kari are too dangerous. We cannot risk our fleets. May the stars remember you. Chancellor Lyra stood in what remained of the capital, watching another district fall to synthetic war beasts. Her aide approached with the communications array. One more broadcast, Chancellor? Perhaps someone. No one's coming, Lyra said quietly. But she took the transmitter anyway. One last act of defiance. One final scream into the void. This is Veridon. We are dying. If anyone hears this, if anyone still believes in standing against darkness, please, help us. She set down the transmitter and waited for the end. 3 days later, the sky tore open. Ships emerged from jump space. Not the gleaming vessels of the Concord, but angular shadows that seemed to eat light. Matte black hulls marked with damage that spoke of countless battles. No flags, no insignia, just purpose made metal. They descended without requesting permission, landing codes, or diplomatic courtesy. The largest ship's bay doors opened, and soldiers emerged. Not in parade formation, but spreading out like a flood, already marking positions, setting up equipment. Then came the transmission that froze every Veridon citizen in place. Veridon, you asked for help. Earth answers. Earth. The name rippled through the survivors like electricity. Earth, the world that had sealed its borders 3 centuries ago after something called the Terran Isolation Directive. Earth, the planet other species whispered about in the dark. Earth, home of the humans who'd looked at the galaxy's politics and simply said no thank you before vanishing. Chancellor Lyra met their commander at the ruins of the Parliament steps. Colonel Juno Vega stood 6 feet tall, her armor scarred, her eyes holding the weight of someone who'd seen too much and kept going anyway. She didn't salute, didn't bow, just nodded. Chancellor, we received your signal. What's your tactical situation? We don't have tactics, Lyra stammered. We're a peaceful, Vega corrected. You were peaceful. Now you're at war. We need defensive positions, civilian evacuation routes, and whatever passes for weapons on this world. Colonel, we appreciate the response, but we were hoping for diplomatic. Vega's laugh was short and humorless. Ma'am, you're not dealing with politicians. You're dealing with survivors. Diplomacy is what you do before the shooting starts. We're what comes after diplomacy fails. Then Kari noticed the new arrivals within hours. Their response was predictable, overwhelming force. Hundreds of attack craft descended, war beasts dropped from orbit, energy weapons charged. The humans watched them come with an unsettling calm. Scared? Lyra asked a young soldier setting up what looked like a weather monitoring station. He looked up, confusion in his eyes. Of what? Then Kari. They've conquered 17 systems. The soldier shrugged, going back to his work. Ma'am, I'm from Detroit. These things can't be worse than Tuesday nights back home. When the Kari struck, Veridon's defenders braced for annihilation. Instead, they witnessed something else entirely. The humans didn't meet the enemy head-on. They weren't there when the war beasts landed. The weather stations the soldier had been installing? They turned the planet's storm systems into weapons, creating lightning strikes that fried Kari electronics. Trenches appeared where there should have been humans. Mines detonated under formations that had seemed random. They're not fighting, Veridon's military advisor gasped. They're hunting. Colonel Vega coordinated from the front, never safe, never still. When Kari commanders tried to predict human movements, they found only chaos that somehow produced perfect results. Patterns? Kari strategists demanded of its subordinates. What are their patterns? There are none. They attack from 12 directions, retreat through walls, appear inside our formations. They fight like nothing fights, the strategist finished. Nothing civilized. The pivotal moment came when the Nkari brought their dreadnought into low orbit, a ship that had never been successfully boarded, protected by shields that could withstand fleet bombardments. Vega studied it for 30 seconds, then turned to her team. Harrison, think you can fly one of their shuttles? If it has controls, I can crash it creatively. Good enough. 6 hours later, the dreadnought exploded from the inside. The handful of humans who'd infiltrated it using a stolen shuttle and jury-rigged stealth tech had turned its own weapons against its power core. As escape pods launched, one transmission cut through Nkari command frequencies. You wanted conquest. Earth sent consequences. The Nkari fleet, seeing their indestructible dreadnought reduced to orbital debris, began to retreat. Not an organized withdrawal, a panic. They'd encountered something that didn't just resist conquest but made conquest afraid. The humans pursued for exactly one jump, then returned. No glory-seeking, no overextension. Just professionals finishing a job. When the dust settled, Veridon had lost half its cities but kept its world. The humans were already packing up, their efficiency in leaving as unsettling as their arrival. Wait, Chancellor Lyra called to Colonel Vega. You saved us. The least we can do is The least you can do is remember, Vega interrupted. Remember that we answered. Remember that we didn't have to. And remember this, Earth doesn't get involved because we want to. We get involved because someone made the mistake of making it necessary. Will Earth rejoin the galactic community? Vega paused at her shuttle's ramp. We never left, Chancellor. We just stopped playing games where the rules get people killed. As the black ships vanished into jump space, Lyra's aide approached. Should we tell the Concord? About Earth being active again. Lyra watched the empty sky for a long moment. Tell them this, Earth hasn't rejoined the galaxy. The galaxy just remembered why it should fear Earth's attention. In the years that followed, the footage of the Veridon defense spread across known space. Military academies studied it and found no tactics to copy, just controlled chaos wielded by people who'd turned survival into an art form. The Nkari never attacked another world. The Galactic Concord added a new protocol to their military doctrine in case of existential threat beyond conventional response. Consider the nuclear option, sending a message to Earth. But perhaps the most chilling reminder came from a historian who'd studied the battle. When asked what made humans so effective, she replied, "They don't fight wars like they're playing chess. They fight wars like they're ending nightmares. When you call Earth for help, you're not getting soldiers. You're getting survivors who've turned trauma into tactics. And that's why when the darkness comes calling, sometimes the only answer is to call something darker." The memorial on Veridon bears a simple inscription. When the galaxy turned away, Earth turned up. They didn't come as heroes. They came as humans. And that made all the difference.